I'm sure you've seen an ad asking Obama to start working on jobs. Well, look at this particular mall near my house. That's an Office Depot. They closed. It was a lively place that I used to shop at. Yes, there are still a few places open at this little mall. This is a side mall. But the Office Depot closed, and so did the other core tenant, an Acme, which is part of Albertsons, the grocery store. So when you take away the two key tenants, all you're left with is a dying mall that only will have value to businesses that can run without a visiting customer, a street customer. There's a Rite Aid, by the way, and the Rite Aid is nearly moribund. If you go inside, you'll see essentially a collapsed business. And behind that tree is the old Acme. So what do Republicans propose? Well, let's pick Linda McMahon as an example, because I showed her ad. They propose tax cuts. More tax cuts. And by the way, look at that closed restaurant. I used to eat there. Tax cuts are not a solution to jobs. Yes, an economist will tell you that if you cut a particular tax, whatever the tax is, that the GDP will increase. But we're really not talking about GDP. If you had 10 millionaires who had the increase in income and could invest in something, that may increase the GDP. And as we've seen, investments in GDP can become meaningless. Look at the current collapse. GDP went up, then the GDP went down. If you have instead lots of customers doing small things like buying Hewlett-Packard printers or ice creams or shoes or pants from LL Bean, you're better off with the pants from LL Bean. By the way, this was taken on a Sunday afternoon. The side mall is across from this. This is the main mall. And even here, parking lot was not that full at 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, which is prime time shopping in New Jersey's mall culture. And we're really in the middle class mall culture. Look at all those empty parking spaces. Tax cuts. Would they fill them? I don't think so. By the way, here is a typical store that's going out of business, 40% off, they're closing, handbags, tchotchkes for sale. Tax cuts. What would they do for this guy? We're surrounded by offices. This is an office here, BASF. This is a busy and popular area to be. In fact, Casio is on one of the outer rings, and Casio pays for our 4th of July fireworks. So it's not all horror. But tax cuts themselves will do nothing. It's a hotel, by the way. I think it's a Hilton Gardens. This is a popular place, and yet parking spaces are empty. Again, let's just set our eyes on a failed property there. There is no magic in jobs. Jobs are about customers.